Welcome back everyone to episode 12 of our tutorial series on Distant Worlds Universe. So in the last episode we got our resort up and going. Well, it's actually just started being built. Where is she? Actually, is this where it is? Yeah, we have a construction ship queued to build a resort here. The construction ship is not even there yet, but that's going to be happening. The first thing I want to start off doing actually is I want to go back and decrease the taxes of the planet because we're already up to 7,700 and we've completed a lot of our construction. We want to make sure that we're getting this population up. The peak population I usually find with my game settings, which is a generous starting system, that these first ones, especially with such high quality, get up to about 27, 25 billion. So we're not even halfway there yet. And those guys are going to make a lot more money and increase everything for us, so including our research. So let's set our tax back down to 0. Alright, the second thing I want to do is build another construction ship because I think we're going to need more than one. We are currently building one, but I think we even want another one. So we'll get another construction ship because we're going to have a lot of construction to do very soon. And we know that this construction ship down here, the Arduous Guardian, is pretty far away from finishing anything. Once those are completed, I know that we've already talked about this really wonderful fueling station down here, 9696, but there's also some places down here who have, here we go, lead, steel, gold. I don't want to talk too much about it right now. I think I'm going to try to break that up into the next video, just which stuff to begin expanding to after you have, because the idea is after you have some other systems explored, where do you send your construction ships to? Now, I've always said that the starting system you can be a little more lenient on. It's in your home system, which you expect to always have like really tight grasp on. So you can build a lot more freely. We'll definitely build this one, and we'll get the fuel station. Here's one with, this one we'll probably ignore because it's 51 and 73 gold and steel, but right here is one with 77 and 69 steel and gold, which is actually higher in both categories and obviously a higher total on top of that. So we'll probably use this one just as a resort, and we'll build a mining station here. So we already have like 3 mining stations we can pick out for ourselves. It's this one as well. This one only has Tidirios or Tidirios. Not sure exactly how it's pronounced. Anyway, it's a made-up element, so we can pronounce it any way we want. Tidirios. I don't think that's enough, even though Tidirios is useful for some things. Is it shields? Let's find out. Shielding and reactor components. Yeah, it's also used in reactors, so that can be an important one to grab. But let's see if we don't find another source which has another gas along with it. That would be preferred. Okay, so you definitely want this planet to get a station eventually, but again, we're going to be researching colonization as soon as we finish crew systems. Alright, so what we've done so far is just take the taxes back down to 0. Now let's get to the actual business of exploring. Note that we have 2 ships which are still retrofitting to the Mark II. We can see the design is not the Mark II yet. All the rest of them that are the Mark II, these guys are free to go. If you remember at the very beginning, I started leading planets and I was super, hyper, maybe a little bit overly min-max. I'm not going to be as particular about our exploration ships with hyperspace. You could do the same thing. Note the exploration pattern. If I just click on this tenacious beggar, I can control right click on this planet and I can hit explore this system. That's probably how you'll do it, especially at the very start. It's just get these individual explorers to go to the various different areas in their initial circle. And remember, this circle should cover there and back, which means you only have about half the radius of your max fuel. But there are going to be cases where we just send some explorers out, like down here. This is beyond halfway, but we're really interested in seeing what's down here, so we'll probably send an exploration ship. And again, it's not so big of a deal if the exploration ship has to come back at only 1/3 the speed. Okay, with that being said, the pattern of exploration that a ship chooses if you tell it to explore the whole planet is it starts with the innermost planet and it moves outward. Now, let's just give a very absurd example. Let's say that this planet is here, but number 2 planet was here, 3 planet was here, 4 planet was here, 5 planet was here, and so on and so forth. The scouts are not smart enough to realize it would be much more efficient to do a line here, jump this way, and then do a line here. They'll keep pivoting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 back and forth. So there is definitely a lot of cases where you could speed up the exploration of a system if you micromanage it. This is, I would say, very similar to what my idea was in the very beginning, to lead planets and to bypass them a little to prevent your scout from slowing down. However, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to tell you that it can be done and it is more efficient if you specifically tell them where to move. In fact, maybe I'll just demonstrate it for one of them. I'll move this guy here. I'm just going to move to unknown system. In fact, the more efficient thing is to move about down here so you don't even overshoot with your hyperdrive at all. I'll pay closer attention to this. In fact, let's get this Usilea Wonder. And I don't have anything hard-coded as... Let's see. I think I'll just... we have nothing on 7, so I'll choose Usilea Wonder to be control 7. And now anytime I want, I can get 7 back up just by pressing that key. We'll keep an eye on her, and we'll maybe I'll just demonstrate how you could explore. Hopefully this system has a lot of planets, and I can demonstrate how to explore it efficiently. Anyway, the difference between these stars, by the way, and these plus signs is these are gas clouds, and here it says the type carbon dioxide. So these won't have planets, but the gas cloud itself can have a resource, like Caslon or hydrogen even, which make excellent fueling stations typically. Okay, so let's go ahead and just start mowing through the line. We got one here, we got one here, and we have this Lost Star Wind. Let's send him over here, explore this system, get the Celestial Mirage. We'll say explore this system, although it's a gas cloud, and probably she'll be done very quickly. Keep pushing on. I am going to send one, as I already mentioned, this is more than halfway, but it's such an important system, I'm going to go ahead and basically sacrifice the Brazen Rendezvous. She's going to take a long time to come back to refuel, but it's worth it for the information on this system. Okay, next. I think I'll just send one exploration ship here. This one will also jump over to this other gas cloud and then come back because they're so close it's not worth putting 2 over there. And let's grab our last individual. By the way, I have turned on over here, show travel vectors for state ships. If I unpause and then pause again, you can see that when you're unpaused, things update. So we can see where all my exploration ships have already been designated to go. And I think instead of going down to this gas cloud, I'd much rather see a planetary system. So I'm going to get my last exploration ship just until these 2 finish retrofitting to move up here to this planet. And it shouldn't take long for these other ones to retrofit. So I'm going to keep an eye on number 7, but at this point we're going to hit spacebar, and we're going to speed this all the way up to 4x. So we've gone all the way up. Okay, right now the pirates are offering to give us a system map. You will have to pay, I think it's 2,000, 4,000, 2,000. I'm not going to do it because we're about to explore those systems ourselves. Okay, so retrofitting for these guys is done. They're now ready. Again, note this is in the same vein as when the construction ship was actually finished repairing the destroyer, but it retained that mission. Once these guys have the Mark II there, that means the retrofit is done. It says they have a mission still. It doesn't think that their mission is complete, only because they're going to move away from the station and then park themselves in orbit around the planet. But we don't need them to do that. We can just cut their orders short and get these guys both to launch off. So I'm going to get one to launch off here, explore this system, and let's get the other one, which is supposedly still retrofitting, but Mark II, so we know that's not true. And we'll get him to explore this gas cloud. Him, her, I don't know what. It's her, a ship, but some people refer to these in the masculine. Who knows? And we also got the rover of Usilea. Okay, good. So as far as construction ships go, we have a few to choose from. Are we still building this? I guess we're still building the resort. I'm going to get the rover of Usilea. I know that we'll be doing more of the expansion on the next turn, but this is one that's just too obvious to avoid. I'm going to build my gas mining station here at this very critical gas refuel station. It's going to be very helpful to get this up. You want to find a gas station immediately because your store of fuel is pretty high to start with on your home planet, but it's obviously the first thing that can run out and the most devastating thing that can run out. So just be very careful about that. All right, let's make sure that we're following number 7. Speeds along. We have the other construction ship finished, but I should mention, I'm pausing just to make this point, that I should designate it something. If this was a min-max efficient playthrough, we would stop and designate it something. But in order to keep the tutorial videos separated by category, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to leave it just totally blank there. And it looks like... Okay, so the Tenacious Beggar has finished its mission. It's gone and it has explored the system. Because this system, when it has this double letter, triple number, that just means that there's nothing in this planet. It's just devoid of anything but a star. So this guy's ready. I'm actually going to send him back to refuel, I think, before we send him anywhere. No, I think we'll start getting these guys, launching them outside of the range that they can return from. So I'm going to get this guy to explore this gas cloud, and then we'll send him back to refuel only after that. Oh, another thing, when you have all these exploration ships, it's good to keep this up so you can see when some of them will say no mission, and then you have to immediately task them to be efficient. Again, this is if you choose not to automate their exploration, and I find it usually is much more efficient not to, but you feel free, by all means feel free to automate them. If you do the automated ship, they will just go about and explore on their own. I do want to show you though that you can change the message settings. Let's see. Yes, it's in game options, and then down here show message settings. This just tells you what is going to appear in this top box, and this shows you what is going to appear over here in the big box on the right. I'm actually going to turn on ship mission complete just so that I have a very obvious sign when my exploration ships finish their mission. Okay, and now we're just plowing it. So now it says the Majestic Interlude completed its mission. It's very obvious it has, and this is the one which completed the resort. The very cool thing about this is we're going to look up here in the Open Ships and Bases screen, and currently if we scroll down to the passenger ships, these are all, didn't exist one day ago, but now that the resort is finished, the civilian economy has noticed there is actually a reason for passenger liners to exist. So it has requested them. And this is going to help with our money, especially because, again, we set our tax back down to 0. Not only is them building the passenger ships going to help with our money, because they have to buy them from us, but these are then going to start filling up that resort with money, which is going to be comparable to our negative cash flow. So you can see how important it's going to clear up our negative cash flow situation just having that resort, which is so important in the early game when you're trying to really stretch that 0 tax percent as far as possible. So we can see, if I go back to even just the home planet, that there they are, the passenger ships. 13 components unbuilt, so they're getting there. And the very first thing they're going to do, as kind of a follow-up to our resort mission, the very first thing they're going to do, okay, we move to Usilea 3 spaceport when they finish. Now they're going to get their orders to transport tourists. They're going to go back to the station, grab... Okay, we'll have to get to the Lost Star one in a second, but they grab their 20K, and then they're going to jump over. Let's go over to the Lost Star one. Hit delete. Okay, so we got another planet which has nothing of interest here. In this case, we'll send this guy on over here. And now, number 7, let's go into you, hit home key. Let's go insert, actually. All right, so what we would see in this case is it's actually going to be efficient to do 1, 2, 3. Just like the automated routine in this case is going to be the most efficient. We can probably eke out 1 and 2 almost simultaneously if we just jump here and then move here. You can see how min-max crazy this is, and it's not going to save you that much time. But if, for example, this planet was here, this planet was here, and this planet was here, then you could see the advantage of moving it yourself. So I'm not going to bogged down in this. I just want to show you that. I'm going to have this one automated explore this system. Yeah, there is a small, like you could gain a small benefit. You see that these two are closer together. I don't know. Anyway, you understand the point. Plus, you want to make sure you do explore system at the very end of your own manual control anyway, because there are a lot of asteroids which are hard to see, and these are really easy to forget about if you don't do an automated exploration of the system. Okay, well, I guess that's all I wanted to cover. What I'm going to do is off camera, I'm going to push these exploration people forward. Now, mind you, every system that you go to, that you explore for the first time, you should be taking a look very briefly for any ruins, which aren't that important to find because just in the process of exploring the system, your exploration ship will encounter them and allow you to investigate. But even more importantly, you have to look in the mini-map at the screen down here for any abandoned ships, which remember are a triangle, like a gray triangle. Those are important because if they are in need of repairs, your ship will not automatically control them, and you need to send a construction ship to do that. Not that you need to send a construction ship immediately, but that has to be done. If you just leave the system, you will no longer know about that construction ship, the abandoned ship, excuse me. And it's just important to mark, where are the places where there's abandoned ships that you possibly want to come back to, because they don't appear on any kind of galactic map. Okay, well, that's good. Let's see if our resort, by the way, has collected its first individuals. Oh, they're just headed there now. So let's just take a look at this. Our current resort income is 0. We completed shields, by the way. That's great. And they're about to dock and drop off their tourists. So we see the resort is now going to jump up to 60 total. And those guys will speed away after this and make up another trip probably. And this bonus income has now jumped up by 8K. You can see how important that resort is. Alright, so in the next episode we'll talk about expanding to our mining stations, not just to our initial system, but we'll look for places to expand in the area around us. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.